Over the course of my late teens to late 20s, I was on every type of medication you can imagine. At the age of 29, the third round of Accutane had flopped. My acne was coming right back within a couple months, and I was like, I'll just need to figure this out myself.
One last Google search, up popped San Diego Acne Clinic.
No way.
And so Danielle cleared my skin in 2 months.
Today, I'm joined by Danielle Gronich, better known as the Acne Guru, and Kaylee Christina, an integrative health practitioner and nutritionist. They are the co-founders of Clearstem, the first skincare line and supplements that are both clinically effective and completely free of pore clogging ingredients. Even if you have slight issues with your skin, it affects your confidence so much.
It's truly our life mission to help people understand acne and relieve the suffering.
This is kind of the playbook. That's the pharmaceutical playbook in Western medicine.
Yeah.
First, you try to take the batteries out of the smoke alarms with the birth control pills. The birth control can mute the symptoms of the acne for sure, for as long as you're taking it. But the moment you stop, you generally get a rebound effect.
What are the top 3 worst pore clogging ingredients that you find in a lot of skincare products?
If you're still using those in your skincare, it doesn't matter what type of acne you have, you will still continue to break out.
I'm Radhi, and on my podcast, A Really Good Cry, we embrace the real, the messy, and the beautiful, providing a space for raw, unfiltered conversations that celebrate vulnerability and allow you to tune in to learn, connect, and find comfort together.
Thank you guys so much for being here again. And I love your products, Clearstem. Your brand is beautiful. It helps so many people. And I wanted to just start off from the beginning and ask you guys, how did Clearstem come about? What was the purpose behind it, and why you created the products that you have?
We started them out of a passion and a need and out of deep alignment with the customer. So Kaylee and I both struggle with acne. We're very acne prone. A lot of people are acne prone. It's on the rise, and everyone has a different degree to which they're acneic, and it generally runs in families to some degree. I had grade 4 cystic acne on both sides of my family well into adulthood, so I really hit the lottery with my skin. In college is when it got really, really bad. That's when I started to wear makeup. I got on a birth control, happened to be the wrong birth control for my skin. So my acne just exploded. And ironically, I was studying biology, genetics, and immunology, fully intending to go to medical school.
Wow.
And I would show up to my appointments, my doctor appointments about my skin with a list of basic questions like, what should I be eating? What should I not be eating? When I have alcohol, I feel like my acne gets worse. Why could that be?
Yeah.
And basically what I went through was just a series of, we can't answer that. There's no studies linked to that. Here's more medication. So over the course of my, late teens to late 20s, I was on every type of medication you can imagine. I was on all the retin-A's, all the different kinds. I was on antibiotics, then stronger antibiotics, spironolactone, then more spironolactone, Accutane 3 separate times. And in between all that was doing all the lasers and trying everything. And it just wreaked havoc on my gut, my body, and my skin, frankly. And at the age of 29, the third round of Accutane had flopped. My acne was coming right back within a couple months. And I was like, I'll just need to figure this out myself.
Wow.
So I wound up going to esthetician school at night, actually. So I had not gone to medical school because I was so disenchanted with my experience, getting my acne treated. And I was like, I don't want to be a part of that medical system where it's just prescriptions. So I was in the corporate world and decided to solve my skin myself because that was the only route that was left. Wound up becoming an esthetician. I just went to esthetician school at night to get information, and all of the biology that I had studied and the medical profession that I had always kind of dreamed of, it all came full circle right then. And I saw that treating acne was my dream career that I never knew existed. So I learned under a lot of the people in San Diego, worked for a few med spas, worked for a few veteran estheticians, learned a ton, and then I started San Diego Acne Clinic. That was about 11 years ago, and I met Kaylee as one of my first clinic patients.
Oh, amazing. And what was your story behind creating this? And I feel like you both have individual kind of journeys that brought you to this.
Yeah, so my background and passion has always been nutrition, even from such a young age. But when I was blossoming into adulthood in my mid-20s, I made the decision to get off of birth control. I was just so passionate. I had a full-time job that I was working, but on the side, I was going through different nutrition programs. I was just so excited to learn more in the world of nutrition through education. And so I decided to get off all prescription medication, including birth control, and my skin just went crazy.
No way.
Oh my gosh. Within a matter of 2 months, I had bright red, inflamed cystic acne, both sides of my cheek, down my neck. It looked like pustules. It looked infected. Like it wasn't even like parts of it were normal acne. Like there was some whiteheads scattered in there, but it was that like really deep, painful cystic bumps everywhere. And on the nutrition side, I started putting myself through so many different protocols. I wasn't able to run lab work at this point yet. I eventually got there, but at this point, I was just putting myself through dietary protocols. So everything from low FODMAP, SIBO, Candida diets, like you name it, I put myself through it. So many elimination diets. Nothing seemed to shift or change. And then when it came to skincare, I knew nothing. I only knew what marketing told me, like what I would read and see, etc. And this was 10 years ago. So Instagram stories didn't exist. TikTok didn't exist. The way you found information was Googling. Like that's just it was a lot of just like medical links that would pop up with no clear understanding. I actually could not find any information on acne. It was just the only information I saw was remove sugars, remove some processed foods. Yeah. Like that was it.
Chocolate, like advice from the 80s.
No French fries and chicken fingers. like that's what it said. And I was like, okay, duh, but no real topical information. And so I started trying to figure out things myself. So I tried everything from traditional drugstore brands. I was like, okay, I'll go so basic. Yeah. Drugstore brands, no, didn't work. I tried DIY at home, like garlic and apple cider vinegar and making all my own like tinctures and serum things. I think that made it worse because I was doing it really roguely where I was just rubbing garlic on my face, which burns your skin. Like that's way too strong for your skin. And so I didn't understand about the pH of skin and balancing and all of that good stuff. And so then I tried a bunch of different estheticians and committed to their different lines they put me on, a $300 serum that promised it would clear my acne, you name it. Tried all of these things. I'm working on this for almost a year. And nothing is shifting and changing. It honestly just looks angrier at me. And when I truly felt like I'd exhausted everything, I didn't want to leave my house. I felt so depressed. I'm packing on makeup and I wasn't even like a makeup girl. And I'm packing on this like thick clay makeup. I'm not hanging out with friends. I'm basically just hiding away in my house. I looked in the mirror. My face looked so disfigured. It was a really dark time. I thought, okay, I guess I need to go to the doctor and the dermatologist to figure this out. So I went to multiple primary care doctors and multiple dermatologists because I really wanted to get different answers. I really just wanted to understand what was going on with my body. I needed help. And from primary care physicians, I kept just given the answer, birth control and antibiotics. And when I would ask why, I would say, okay, I hear you. I get that. That's your system. But what's going on that prescription is going to help it? And I just kept receiving the answer, I don't know, let's just test. And that didn't sit right with me. My blood work from the doctor kept coming back normal, which is very standard for a lot of women, especially in America. The ranges that we are getting are not optimal ranges. They're based on the standard American, which you do not want to be compared against if you're really you don't want to be compared against. And so I went to the dermatologist and my acne was so severe, it was just straight to Accutane. And it was against everything I personally wanted to do, but I felt like there was no other solution. So I started the process to go on Accutane. It takes 30 days to go on because you have to take 2 pregnancy tests 30 days apart and commit to 2 forms of birth control before they'll let you on it. Wow. And so I started the process and my mom's like calling me. She's like, Kaylee, please don't go on Accutane. My mom's a chemist and she's just like, you're not a teenager. Like, please don't go on this. It's going to be so destructive for your liver. I was like, I don't have any other choice. Yeah. Truly is how I felt. One last Google search, pop San Diego Acne Clinic.
No way.
Danielle spent 3 hours with me. I was her last client of the day. We went through every product I was using, supplement I was taking. And for the first time, Danielle had this information about acne that I was not able to find anywhere else, not in any of the nutrition programs I was in either. Like no one was talking about it in this way. My whole world was opened up and I just felt so much passion in my body. I was like, more people need to know and understand this information. And so Danielle cleared my skin in 2 months.
No way.
Completely clear.
Amazing.
Thank you.
And that everything that happened in that first session with Danielle and I, and, I would go into her clinic because she had to do a lot of extractions on me for a few months. Like it took to get everything out. I would lay on her clinic table and we would just chat the whole time. And every single piece of that we have rolled into Clearstem to make it scalable so more people can have access to what are the root causes of acne, what action steps can you take, what are those sneaky little things that are hiding that no one's talking about. And that's really what we've done. And so it's truly our life mission to help people understand acne and relieve the suffering.
Thank you both so much for sharing that, because it's so meaningful when you hear people's experiences and why, this isn't just a random product that you've created. This is something that you've experienced yourself and been through the struggle. And, I think I can only speak for myself as a woman. Even if you have slight issues with your skin, it affects your confidence so much.
So much.
And with all my friends, even if it's just period related and you end up getting a spot here and there, like it really changes the way that you see yourself. So for someone who's got acne, who's living with it day in, day out, year in, year out, I can only imagine how much it knocks your confidence. Like you said, you didn't want to even leave the house.
Yeah.
Why do you think, the first thing you spoke about was hormone control, that they put you on the pill as soon as you end up getting some sort of acne, especially as a teenager. Number one, why is that the first line protocol? And number two, what was some of from the research you've done maybe, what are some of the negative effects that you've realized come from it? And number three, why does it not work for people?
Yeah.
This is kind of the playbook. That's the pharmaceutical playbook in Western medicine.
Yeah.
First, you try to take the batteries out of the smoke alarm, essentially, is the analogy that I use with the birth control pill. So yes, when you're a teenager, your hormones are surging. Things are going a little wild, specifically testosterone, especially with teenage boys. But they have found that the pill can just sort of take the batteries out of the smoke alarm, essentially. So you just kind of overregulate, hop into hyperdrive with the hormones. And basically the pill that they generally prescribe to young girls is the higher estrogen, estradiol pill.
Right.
So that will suppress the testosterone that is the main driver of acne. So the hormones all have interplay. Each one plays a specific role. How they relate to each other is a very complex situation. But generally speaking, testosterone and androgens, like the male hormones, those are the ones that are going to create the most obvious hormonal acne spikes.
Okay.
So when you make estrogen the primary main character, it's going to suppress that androgen testosterone behavior, and it can suppress the acne that's coming from that. Mm-hmm. So that is what they do, because it's generally the first and strongest thing that is, that they're able to do. Yeah. Then they generally prescribe some antibiotics, especially if there's like pustules and like other things like that. Mm-hmm. Everyone's been on antibiotics for their acne as well. So those are kind of the first two things. The birth control can mute the symptoms of the acne for sure, for as long as you're taking it. Right. But the moment you stop, you generally get a rebound effect. Mm-hmm. And there's other things that happen, especially in a woman's body in terms of like gut health and how certain nutrients are absorbed that are being impacted by the pill as well. And that's the stuff that's not really talked about. Yes. And so those are the side effects that we deal with once we get off the birth control. Mm-hmm. Our acne has rebounded. The original things that were causing it, especially if it's from your diet, those things are still there. Those never went away. Right. So it can come back even more aggressive. Kayleigh can kind of talk more about what else happens in the woman's body when she's on birth control for too long.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, because going on medication is a choice, right? And I think what many times is removed from that decision for certain people is they don't understand the choice they're actually making. I don't think they're given an informed decision-making process. I think they go into the doctors and it's like, hey, this pill will help solve this acne. To people who have been struggling with acne for a long time, that to them feels like the greatest gift. They're like, just take the pain away. Just take it away. Just make it go away. It could be any stage in life, but especially there's women who are like planning for a wedding or trying to date, like things that are affecting their confidence are like, just take it away. But the information that's not given is how to, if you do choose to be on the pill, how to support your body in the process. There, like Danielle mentioned, there's a lot of really important nutrients in the body that the pill suppresses: selenium, B12, vitamin D. It has a serious effect on gut health and actually changes the probiotic-prebiotic balance that's going on in your gut. And so we're told to take this pill, but given none of the resources of how to properly support your body if you choose to be on on it. Because what happens when you go off the pill, and many women at this point are on it for 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
We have so many moms that come to us. There's children who are being put on the pill at age 11 and 12 for acne.
No.
They're not even sexually active yet. And by the time they get off, maybe they're 30.
Yeah.
35. If they choose to not have kids until 30, 35, until a slightly later age than early 20s, they could truly be on birth control for 20 years. So for 20 years, you're cutting off communication between your ovaries and your brain. For 20 years, you're depleting these vitamins and nutrients. You are causing disruption in your gut health. You are muting androgen, testosterone, and you are raising estrogen. And then we expect to just get off the pill and everything is fine. And that is not the case. There's also a way to safely get off the pill. We're not educated about that. Making sure our lymphatic system is moving, making sure we're having bowel movements, making sure we're sweating and properly detoxing to support our body. And so we, as women, we're having these rebound effects after getting off the pill because we're not told how to support our bodies during or transitioning off. So our body, after 10, 15, 20 years, there's a flush of testosterone that comes back like a rubber band. It just is rebounding back. And our body doesn't know where to put it, right? Like we only have so many parking spots for all the hormones. And we have all this testosterone floating around. And they're like, where are the parking spots? Like, where's the parking garage? I don't know where to go, where to be, what to do. Our body doesn't know how to properly metabolize it. So our bodies are just so confused. Wow. Yeah. So a lot of times these women who get off the pill who are dealing with wild side effects after birth control, it's their body just trying to recalibrate and figure out what the heck is going on with this new body I haven't had in 20 years.
Oh my gosh, so beautifully explained. Thank you. I guess my first question from what you said is, what are some of the things, if someone is hearing this and they are thinking of coming off the pill or they've just come off the pill, what are 3 things that you recommend somebody does that can help their body adjust back to normality?
Yes, I would say stress and detox are the first 2. So really taking a look at your stress levels. Are you sleeping enough? Are you drinking enough water? Are you, whether it's meditating or going on walks or whatever you need to just help make sure that when you're transitioning off birth control, it is a slightly calmer environment. Right. Because if you are doing HIIT workouts every single day and chugging like really crazy energy drinks and not sleeping and just drinking so much caffeine during the day, that is not a safe environment. Your body does not feel safe to get off birth control. So that can make symptoms a lot worse. The second one, we really need to make sure detox pathways are open. So I love jumping in the morning. There's like the pogo jumps you can do or jumping jacks, or if you want to be really fun with it, get a little rebound or trampoline to jump on, but you can simply just jump around your house in any way. I like to pump what I call the big 6, and it's like pumping your lymph nodes under your jaw, around your clavicles, under your armpits, your stomach, your groin, and behind your knees, giving those a little pump every single morning. Drinking warm water with lemon with some salt first thing in the morning, making sure that you have general movement throughout the day. Is that working out? Is that walking? Whatever is right for you. And making sure you're having regular bowel movements. Bowel movements is probably number 1 as far as detox, because when our body is trying to filter out all of these excess hormones that don't belong in the body, that are confused on where to go, that are left over from the birth control, we need to get them out through sweat and bowels. That is how they exit the system. If those do not get a chance to exit the system, that is going to cause additional hormonal overload and imbalance that gets stuck in the body, where some of those really gnarly symptoms happen, whether it's hair loss, hair growth in areas you don't want it, acne, skin rashes, feeling really, really bloated and tired and exhausted all of the time. A lot of those can come from just really stuck toxins and additional hormones that don't belong in the body anymore.
And I know you mentioned that when you got your labs done, everything seemed like it was normal.
Yeah.
And so, when you're a teenager, acne is sometimes expected. You think that you're going through hormonal imbalance, but then there are people who are in their 30s or late 20s that are getting these extreme breakouts. Would you say that, the hormone levels that you had, were you getting hormones tested?
when you were at that stage?
Yes, I was getting my hormones tested, but it was not the proper blood work for hormones because I just went through my primary care physician.
What should someone ask for? What kind of blood work should they ask for?
So we love functional medicine practitioners and functional medicine doctors. There's so many great resources. There's individual practitioners. There's bigger companies that are also really helpful for running functional blood work. But there's a big difference between the blood work you run with your doctor and functional blood work. If you find an individual practitioner, you actually can get regular blood work run through your doctor and have a functional practitioner look at it though. That is really helpful because what's most important is the ranges you need to get done. There's so much that we can see through blood work. We just need to look at new ranges and play detective on what's causing certain things. But then also true hormone, gut, and toxin level testing is done through stool and urine. So those are our additional testing that different functional practitioners can do where you can get a bit more of a peek inside.
And you said your acne was on both sides of your family, so it felt like it was quite genetic. So would you say that that's even more difficult to try and help cure as someone who's just got it hormonally as a teenager? Or I mean, for you, you've obviously figured out a way to do it for your own body, but for anyone who's seeing it in their family, are there different protocols that someone should take?
That's a really good question. So there is generally a genetic component. It's just to what degree. So the primary genetic trait that can make someone like really breakout prone, it's called retention hyperkeratosis. Basically, you produce more keratin protein than the people who like never wash their face but never break out, right? So there are some people who just don't break out. That could be because they don't have that like hyperkeratosis genetic predisposition, right? So the people that do make that extra keratin protein, our pores get clogged more easily, more naturally. Our own skin protein, it can generally be a little bit stickier. It doesn't kind of shed and like get that cell turnover that we ultimately want. So what we need is a little bit more exfoliation. We need regular exfoliation. It doesn't need to be harsh. In fact, it shouldn't be overly harsh. It just needs to be a little bit consistent, kind of like exercise. I always tell people to liken their exfoliation to their exercise. You want to do, a little bit a few times a week, and maybe you vary the intensity or the type, you find what works for you versus never exfoliating and then only exfoliating once every 2 months when you get a facial. That would be like never working out and then running a marathon once every 2 months. So you want to make sure that you're doing it consistently and the right type that is supportive for your barrier. Regardless of the source of your acne, there are some things that you need in your routine in order to stay clear. Number one is that proper exfoliation. Generally, a therapeutic blend of both physical and chemical exfoliation. That's the necessary 1-2 punch, right? So by physical exfoliation, I mean like a gentle scrub, something that's going to get rid of that dead layer of skin. It's going to kind of clear the way and give access to the pore. And then right after that is when you do your chemical exfoliation, like a mandelic acid serum. Most people are familiar with AHAs and BHAs. BHA is like your salicylic. I think we've all gone through the salicylic phase when we're teenagers, right? So that's your BHA experience and very, very useful. But then you get to the world of AHAs. Those are your glycolics, your lactic, your mandelic acid, and there's a few other ones too. We have found that mandelic acid is like the Goldilocks of acids for acne. It's also effective for brightening the skin and it's effective for fungal acne. That's why it's the best for people that are acne prone. You still get that cell turnover that makes your collagen, be happy and repair after the acne, and you get those anti-aging benefits of it as well. So that's kind of the crux of like the Clearstem system is getting those the proper exfoliation that also helps you age well. But then the other thing, no matter what source of acne you have, you want to make sure you're not using pore clogging ingredients. Because you will just continue to break out. You can have perfect hormones, perfection in your diet. You can have your water blessed by a shaman. It doesn't matter. If you're using pore clogging ingredients in your skincare, most notably your moisturizer, your sunscreen, and your makeup, those are the three things that break people out the most. And even if they're organic, right? And we can talk more about this. But if you're still using those in your skincare, it doesn't matter what type of acne you have, you will still continue to break out.
What are the top 3 worst pore clogging ingredients that you find in a lot of skincare products?
I'll break it down into the different categories because people often interpret clean beauty as meaning acne-safe, and it is not. Clean beauty still breaks people out. The top 3 pore cloggers in clean beauty are going to be coconut oil, coconut alkanes, and then shea butter. Yeah.
And you always think, I grew up, even like through my teens, I would think, the thicker the moisturizer or like the oils, the better. So I would be like putting on shea butter or coconut oil, and you think that that's just going to deeply moisturize your skin.
For some people, it works for them.
Yeah.
If they're not acne prone.
Right.
Yeah. And we like to tell people, if you're doing something and your skin is flawless, keep doing it.
Right.
But if you have acne and you're struggling, listen up.
Let's change something.
Yeah. And then there's the other, hundreds of other pore clogging ingredients that brands use, usually by accident because their chemists just aren't aware of the comedogenicy factor of them. But it'll be things like isopropyl myristate, ethylhexyl palmitate, cetireth 20.
Yeah, I've seen that and stuff. Yeah, I recognize that one.
It's even in Cetaphil moisturizer. So it's in things that are, even touted as acne safe, but they can range from mildly comedogenic to extremely comedogenic. There's about there's hundreds of these ingredients. There's like 100 that I've kind of memorized over the years in doing this, but we don't want everyone to have to memorize them. So we created a checker where you can just copy and paste the ingredient deck of whatever product you want to use. Put it in the checker. It'll tell you in red if there's something that's likely to break you out.
That's on your website, right? I think I saw that. Yeah, that's so useful.
It's a mandatory tool before you try anything else. And even if you've been using something for a long time, you're like, oh, it can't be this. I've been using it forever.
Check it.
Companies reformulate. We got to check. I can't stress it enough. Never make assumptions. Always check the ingredients.
And the acid that you mentioned, is that in one of your exfoliators?
It's in this one right here, our Clarity Serum.
Amazing.
Which is a game changer. I took a break from it last week just because I forgot to take it with me when I was traveling last week, which I was so bummed. And I used it last night. I'm like, oh my gosh. Sometimes I forget how much it brightens your skin, like how everything just looks clearer. Everything just looks clearer and brighter.
Amazing.
And it gets in there and it dissolves whatever is in your pore. So even people who aren't struggling with acne see such a difference.
I'm using that tonight.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to be using it tonight.
Just in like your skin's luminosity. It's like, we like to call it your skin's own autofluorescence. It's just that glow, right? You may not even be struggling with acne, but it's just that glow that you have to your skin when your pores are clean and clear because you've used a mandelic acid serum that gets in there and dissolves. You are just able to shine through. It's amazing.
I'm so excited to use it tonight. I'll send you guys pictures.
Please. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yes. Tomorrow morning, send us pictures of like your skin when you first wake up. It's unbelievable after using
I'm definitely going to do that. You were mentioning about lots of diets that you tried, like trying to take things out, elimination diets.
Yeah.
What are some of I know you're a nutritionist, of course, and what are some of the foods that you think people should start off eliminating? Are there some general foods that you recommend people just take out of their diet if they are struggling with acne?
Yes. And this doesn't need to be overwhelming because there's some elimination diets out there, which I get you, can be so overwhelming. And it feels like you can't eat anything. The acne elimination protocol is actually fairly simple. Yes, it's in a lot of things, but there's really easy alternatives. So the first one, which surprises most people, is eggs. When we are not saying that eggs are bad, there's some people that just love it for the nutrient density of eggs, and people swear by them. But eggs are on the top allergen list. They can cause an effect on our immune system, and they have something in it, it's specifically in the egg whites, called albumin protein, which can just be very challenging for our body to break down and absorb. So it gets a little stuck, and our bodies have a little bit of a reaction to it. So for people who are either acne prone or they're acne prone for a certain period of time, right? Not everyone is genetically acne prone, but there's people who are acne prone getting on or off of medication before or after a pregnancy or a big hormonal change, perimenopause, menopause, teenager, etc. Those big hormonal changes in life. Our body's just going to be a lot more sensitive during this time. So it's not that you have to eliminate them forever. But where you'll see the breakouts is around your jawline and underneath your jaw is where you'll mostly see the breakouts from eggs.
Okay.
So that's a big one. I always recommend a 60-day elimination trial, giving yourself a really great challenge. For eggs, if anyone's struggling in the morning, we love replacing with a coconut yogurt and a plant-based protein powder and chia seeds and pumpkin seeds to get that, to get more of that B12 and vitamin D, like from the nuts and seeds in there. Or you can make a really great smoothie. Like there's a lot of other options to replace it with. So eggs is a big one. The second one is dairy.
Yeah.
Dairy can be very acne triggering for people. And we know dairy as milk and cheese, but where it can be sneaky and hidden is in whey protein.
Right.
So some people are just purchasing a protein that was recommended to them, or they go to their local like smoothie shop or get a shake after a workout and they don't ask what kind of protein it is. Whey can be a very aggressive acne trigger, and you'll see some men that actually break out on their backs because of it, men and women, but a lot of men that are just like heavy lifters. They're weight training. They're drinking a lot more of it, right? They're drinking so much more of it. So dairy is up there. And then sugar, of course, because we're impacting our insulin levels. But another one that's interesting for people, this doesn't cause acne for everyone, but gluten is a really big one to consider. So for some people, it can cause sinus issues, joint pains, inflammation, bloating. But for some people, it really triggers acne. So again, giving yourself that 60-day elimination, and then slowly, if you choose to integrate anything back in, slowly integrate it back in and just see how your body responds, because it could be a quantity issue, quality and quantity, right? Both. There's quality of eggs, quality of dairy, but also the quantity. Like, could you maybe have eggs 2 days a week when you introduce them back in? But then that's your threshold, right? Maybe it's just not an every single day thing. So that's a big one. The second one is supplements.
Okay.
Tell
me more.
Yes. This was a major trigger for me. It was 10 years ago. It was the height of biohacking. I was taking so many supplements. I feel like we're kind of back in it, honestly. I think we took a break and we're back on a really big supplement craze. And so B12, vitamin D, and zinc. We love those for our body. Our body needs those nutrients, but in excess amounts, they can actually cause hormonal imbalances.
Wow.
Yeah. And they're in so many things now, right? Again, great things to have. And I know you're a vegan as well. And so we have a lot of our community that's also vegans. And so they're typically taking a B12 supplement. And it is a very high dose of B12, and it's acting on their testosterone levels and can actually be triggering acne. So our first thing we always recommend is work to get it from food sources. There's a lot of amazing food sources for B12, nuts, seeds, etc. But then if you are externally supplementing with a physical supplement, we always recommend a dropper so you can control your dose of it and just make sure that you're not having 40,000 times the amount that you're supposed to have to in a day, which does exist in supplements. So those are the really big ones to look out for.
You saying B12, it made me laugh in my head, but it's actually not that funny. Because I eat a lot of nutritional yeast.
Yes.
And oh my gosh, I got my results back recently. And the one thing that was completely off the charts was my B12. It was beyond any limit that I've ever seen. Because I was having nutritional yeast and everything. And that's got B12 in it, or it's sometimes added into the nutritional yeast.
Yeah.
And there I am obviously adding it in for like a cheesy flavor. It makes everything taste so good. But my B12 was crazy. And I was like, wow, this is something that vegans usually really struggle with, even hitting the lower amounts. And there I am off the charts with it because of nutritional yeast. So I need to really look out for that actually.
Yeah. And so, nutritional yeast is such a good one for B12. But specifically for vegans, if someone is overdoing it, it could be triggering acne. So just making sure that like you are viewing that as like one amazing cheesy flavor. Like I love like a mac and cheese with nutritional yeast. Like since I don't do dairy, so great. But then managing like how often during the day, how many times a week, just to make sure people aren't overdoing it and triggering a breakout.
Yeah, I was definitely shocked when I saw that. I was like, damn, I'm a vegan, but this is pretty good for me.
It's pretty good.
Were you honestly impressed? Symptoms though because of the
not that I know of. Okay. Like I had gone through a phase where I was getting a lot of these weird like under my skin spots. You know, the ones that you can't pop, but they just like sit there.
Yes.
So I don't know whether that was linked to it, because then obviously once I became conscious about it, I cut down the amount of nutritional yeast. But I don't know. I need to track whether
it correlates to anything else.
The cool thing about some of these vitamin triggers is that it'll happen pretty quickly.
Right.
The worst thing is when you have a delayed reaction, because there could have been a lot of variables between, you know, when you ate the thing and when you're seeing it in your skin. But when you overdo B12, especially like with B12 shots, or really potent liquid supplement that'll have like, you know, 80,000% RDV, you'll see it within like 48 hours. You'll start getting like hormonal acne, and it gets you right on the jaw. And that's why so many women think that their acne is hormonal, is because it's in the quote hormonal zone. But most things actually create acne in that zone because that's where the deeper hair follicles are. And that's where acne starts.
Are there any other things that you find are these hidden reasons for why people get acne? Anything that people probably wouldn't expect, but actually are causes that you've seen?
Let's see here. Not rinsing their face off right after they exercise is a huge one. Yep. It gets everyone at some point.
That got me. I was working out and sweat. Like I had started doing really intense workouts where I was sweating a lot. And then sometimes I'd go shop after or go do something after, and I wouldn't actually wash my face straight away. And I started getting all of these micro, like it felt like a rash, but it wasn't. But these all these little tiny spots that were kind of sitting on my forehead, on the side of my cheek. And I could not figure out, no matter how much I exfoliated afterwards, no matter how, and this went on for a long period of time. And then I realized I started getting it all over my skin. I started getting it on my arms. And I was like, oh, it must be the sweat. The sweat literally goes right back into your pores. So the good news is it's a really simple solve. All you have to do is stick your face in the water fountain or just like splash off. It's just removing the sweat in that moment, and then you can go about your day. You don't need to bring your whole like, you know, skincare routine to the yoga studio or anything like that. Simply splashing it off is a fantastic and effective solution. We also have, for the people that run hot, like I run really hot, I sweat a lot, and you're not going to like splash your face off like 30 times a day, right? But we made something called Skin Spray All Day, and it's meant to kind of be that refresher for our athletes, for the, you know, personal trainers, the yoga girl, the people that are kind of active throughout their day and breaking a bit of a sweat throughout the day. There's that way to kind of replenish the skin and just kind of like hit like an antibacterial reset so that your sweat doesn't go back into your pores and create those annoying bumps, because everybody gets that. Yeah, I've been there, definitely.
So great for moms running around with their babies.
Chasing a toddler.
Chasing their 2-year-old everywhere, running around, not being able to have that free time to even stop. Skin spray is a lifesaver.
Okay, love, I'm going to keep it in my car from now on. Just give myself a spray during the day.
You touched on something else though. You said the back of your neck, right? And you have curly hair. Most hair products, especially for curly hair, contain pore clogging ingredients. And I'm specifically talking about the conditioners and the leave-in hydrating products.
Yes, I use them.
They, of course, right? Most conditioners contain pore clogging ingredients.
Oh, that's good.
Shampoos, not as much, but conditioners like 98% of the time from what I have reviewed.
And it's so interesting that you think of, okay, when it's skincare, when it's my skin issues, I'm just going to focus on what I put on my skin. And then you forget to think about everything else, that whether it's perfumes or whether it's things that you have around in your environment, even sometimes candles and things that are external can end up affecting so much of your body.
Yeah. And I've been hearing a ton of people recently that certain nail polishes are causing like rashes around their eyes.
Oh, really?
It's like it's you know how like people
from touching their eyes, or
no, there's some
chemical maybe even when they get their nails done. I find that when I go to nail salons, actually. My skin ends up being itchy, or I end up getting a really bad headache from the fumes.
Yes, I've been hearing that from a lot of friends recently, that they switched out their polish and the rashes went away. So there's all these little things, right, that we just have to remember. Everything that we're putting on in our body, not just skincare, can affect our skin in different ways. And it's not to make people spiral and be afraid of things. What I find is it's actually more empowering. It's the power of choice for certain things, and it just brings awareness and attunement to your body. Like you just become more in tune of like what works for me, what doesn't work for me. You have your things, you figure it out, and it can be frustrating and overwhelming in the figuring out process. It absolutely can be, but when you get to the other side, you are just so much more self-aware and in tune with your own body and your own reactions, and you actually stop comparing yourself to other people, and you just start comparing yourself to yourself of like, oh no, this might work for a lot of other people, but it just does not work for me. And that's okay. And that's also really empowering at the same time to just know your body so well.
Definitely helps you to tune in so much more. We spoke about what you eliminated, or the things to eliminate. What about things that people should incorporate to help with the acne in terms of diet and what they should be eating?
What transforms for a lot of women is actually eating in the morning.
Oh.
Yeah. Intermittent fasting can be a really great tool. But for women, I truly see it as a tool and more of a protocol. And to me, a protocol you're doing every once in a while, right? Or you're doing it for a week at a time. But as women, our hormones are a lot more delicate. And so there's certain times of the month, especially around your menstrual cycle, where intermittent fasting can actually put your body into so much more stress. And we know that stress is directly correlated to acne. That's a whole nother component to it, is just stress levels, emotional capacity. Sometimes you're going through a really big stressor in the family, and that's your acne trigger. And so for women, we are not meant to intermittent fast every day, all of the time. And so it's really, really healthy for our hormones to be eating first thing in the morning, especially if we can eat before that caffeine. Truly. I see so many women's hormones and stress levels shift when they can eat first thing in the morning.
Wow. And is there anything specific, like higher in protein or higher in healthy fats?
Yeah, I would say kind of try to getting a little bit of everything in. So protein, fats, and a little bit of carbs. As women, we do need carbs. So getting that nice healthy mixture. So is it that coconut yogurt with protein powder and chia seeds on top? Do you go more savory, where you're sauteing up some veggies in the morning, and then your choice of protein, whether that's tofu, chicken, sausage, leftovers from the night before that you're just reheating in a skillet? Is it a smoothie that you're getting, just the combination where you're getting maybe some spinach and greens in, protein powder, fruit? That kind of hits all your categories of protein, fat, and fiber in there. Another one is hydrating before caffeine.
Okay.
Warm water is best. I mean, you know Ayurveda best. So you know that cold water can typically shut down people's digestive system and kind of close the body off a bit more. So starting your morning with warm water, lemon, salt, just being delicate and allowing your body to wake up, allowing your body to get in flow for the day. But having that hydrating drink first thing in the morning, getting that food in with a healthy combination of protein, fat, fiber, is just going to put you off to an amazing start. It is going to put your body and mind in a position to make better choices throughout the day too. You won't be reaching for the junk food, which we do crave when that it's like, sometimes I am so hungry. I'm coming home from work. I'm starting to make dinner and I'm inhaling chips.
Yes.
Like that hasn't been that happens. And so when you can just make sure that you're eating throughout the day and not getting to the point of starvation, where you do just inhale a bag of chips or whatever your go-to source is for that. Mine is savory. Some people is sweets. And so just making sure that your body is satiated throughout the day. It's going to keep your energy levels happy, your hormones happy, your stress levels happy. And it's going to help reduce some of those cravings that could lead to inhaling some acne triggers in there.
For someone who is going through it right now and they're spending so much money on products, they are trying everything under the sun, but it's just not working, what's the one thing that you would recommend they start with?
Definitely checking and removing pore clogging ingredients.
Okay.
This is the thing that affects, I want to say, like the 80-20 rule for sure, but I think it affects everyone in some way to some degree. So no matter what your source of acne is or what's going on in your life, pore clogging ingredients will keep you broken out.
Got it.
So these things mix with your natural oil, your skin protein, they create a plug, and then your skin just keeps kind of growing, on top of it and around it. And that's when your body recognizes an invader, and that's where you get like bacteria get trapped in there too. So pore clogging ingredients are the thing that it's ruining most people's skin, and it also causes accelerated aging and other things besides acne that we don't want. So the first step is to pull up, it's easier done on a laptop, but literally everything that you're using, everything that's touching your skin and your hair, get the ingredients from their website, copy paste, put it into the checker, see which ones pop up in red. Then you find the solution, the replacement for those. You might find that it's your moisturizer. Most moisturizers do break people out. Everyone who has had acne their whole life is like terrified to moisturize. And they're not wrong. Most moisturizers do break people out, but it is still important to moisturize. So basically, if you find that your moisturizer has pore cloggers, get rid of it. Or you can use it like on your legs. You can have like the sexiest, softest knees ever. For your face and anywhere you break out, make sure that they're completely non-comedogenic, no pore cloggers. That will make a massive difference. And I mean massive. The other thing that you can start doing is dialing in your exfoliation. Most women who break out, they're exfoliating a little bit, but it might not be the right type for their skin, or they're relying on Retin-A or tretinoin. A lot of estheticians really don't recommend tretinoin for active acne or inflamed acne. It can create more irritation and purging, and then you're just stuck in this constant cycle. We prefer mandelic acid. It works more quickly, more effectively, and it plays nice with other things, and it actually dissolves the stuff that's in the pore that's breaking you out. So getting rid of pore cloggers and incorporating a mandelic acid, call it every other night, make a huge difference. Like you can have new skin where like everyone's being like, wow, your skin looks amazing, like inside of a week if you make just those changes.
Wow, such simple changes, but can make such a difference. Nowadays I feel like skincare routines are literally like 12 steps long. If with your skincare brand, what are some of the basic steps that someone needs to take? Like what are things that people are adding in right now that are just unnecessary? How many steps should a routine really be?
I think it's unnecessary to have a bunch of steps to remove your makeup.
Right.
A lot of cleansers they're kind of underwhelming.
Yeah.
And if a cleanser's not getting your makeup off,
what is it doing?
It's not good enough for you. Like, what is it doing? Yeah, what is it doing? And a lot of the really common cleansers that people are using, I'm not going to say any names right now, but there's a lot of cleansers out there that just don't do the job. Like if you're, doing a toner step afterwards and you still have a ton of foundation on after you cleanse, that cleanser's not good enough.
Right.
Get rid of it. You can use it as a body wash. But so a lot of women are doing multiple cleansing steps and then makeup removing wipes and then some other type of like cleanse to get their eye makeup off. So it's like a bunch of different cleansing steps, and it creates a lot of friction on the skin, especially around the delicate eye area. You never want to be tugging the eye skin just to get your makeup off. So I think that's the number one area where I'm constantly troubleshooting for people, because then their eyes are just irritated and things are burning them, and it just creates this cascade effect.
Okay, that's a good one. I was going to ask you about oils actually, because there are so many times where, I went through a phase where I was using a lot of natural oils on my skin. Is that something, if someone's got acne, that they should avoid completely?
Love this question. So we use the comedogenic scale when we're judging ingredients, right? Comedogenic means how likely it is to clog your pore and create a comedone. So the scale is 0 to 5. 0 is completely safe. Think water. It's not going to clog your pore. It cannot do that. Hyaluronic acid is another one that's a 0. Then there's things that are a 5, like they will start clogging you. That's like your coconut oil, like things that are like waxy at room temperature, things like palm oil, things like that, right? And then most things are somewhere in the middle. For example, olive oil is regarded as a 2. Like a 2 out of 5, right? So if you don't have acne at all, you might be able to use olive oil as a moisturizer and it could be great for you. So it really depends on how acne prone you are and where those oils sit on the comedogenic scale. Most essential oils, like the ones like say bergamot or like lavender, like things that are more known for medicinal or, aroma qualities, most of those are going to be completely non-comedogenic. However, they can be a little bit caustic or irritating. So you want to dilute them a lot into what's called a carrier oil. So most essential oils are not going to break you out. They could just be irritants. It's a different combo. But as far as the other oils that you just want to use for general moisture, there are a few that are completely acne safe. Hemp oil, which is my personal favorite. Yeah, hemp seed oil is fantastic. You can get it cold pressed. It smells like kind of like light, nutty. It's delicious. So that one's fantastic. Argan oil is another one that's very safe for people. Castor oil, believe it or not, even though it's very thick, it's known to be a 0 on the comedogenic scale. Yeah.
And do they hydrate?
They do. Some oils are a lot thinner and more, they can be a little bit more hydrating than the thicker oils. Like I wouldn't use castor oil as my moisturizer. Like, yes, it's going to hydrate, but it's going to be more of a slugging effect. It's not necessarily going to deliver that juicy hydration that you ultimately want. And then there's other oils that are a little bit thinner, like rosehip's oil. Yes. Rosehip is hydrating. Okay. So there's just a few out there. Another couple of ones that you'll see in cosmetics that are acne safe are sunflower oil, safflower oil. So those happen to have a comedogenic rating of 0.
Good to know, actually. I always thought that maybe oils ended up just being clogging because they were thicker, but now you know that there's a good range of it.
I think when folks are trying to give someone acne advice and they don't know the details, they'll just say, be safe, stay away from oils. Right. It is kind of an old way of thinking. I think that was kind of the I want to call it propaganda, but that was like kind of like what, like, you know, back in the Neutrogena era, like that's what people used to say. And again, this stuff isn't studied in medical school. So I think a lot of derms will just out of caution for their patients say avoid oils because they know a lot of them can wreak havoc. Yeah. So I think it just became a blanket statement to just avoid oils. And then oil-free became a marketing designation. Right. But I've seen stuff that's marketed as oil-free aimed at the acne consumer, but the primary filler is isopropyl myristate, which is far worse than most oils. Wow. So that's where people get tripped up. And that's why we're so focused on teaching about pore clogging ingredients.
One of my favorite products of yours is the black cumin seed oil.
Good Seeds.
Yes. Is it called Good Seeds?
Yes.
I love it because I have such a deep purpose of sharing how spices can help heal your body so much. Yep. They can help protect, heal, support in so many ways. So when I saw that, I started taking it and I absolutely love it. Could you share why black cumin seed oil is so incredible for the skin?
It's incredible for a lot of systems in the body. So one thing about Clearstem is we have a blood work wing of the business. It's called our acne lab panel. Right. And we have blood chemists that are specifically trained to look at things through the acne lens. Right. And after thousands of people were getting their blood work done with us, we kept seeing the same things emerge. A lot of gut dysbiosis, you know, unwanted pathogens, and just kind of like immune burden. And black cumin seed oil is really, really known and, you know, time tested for helping ward off unwanted pathogens. Right. It's not a wide scale antibiotic or anything like that, but it just helps give you that extra boost. So it helps with the gut and that helps with the skin. Yeah. And then also what's in Good Seeds is a little bit of pumpkin seed oil, which is fabulous. Anyone that's done skin seed cycling for their hormones is kind of like, you know, in love with pumpkin seed oil. It has that natural amount of zinc that we really, really want. But again, it's not too much, so it's perfect. And then the sea buckthorn seed oil, the omega-7. So that combination with the black cumin is like a trifecta for helping multiple areas of the body that impact your skin.
I loved it. I actually started taking it after I got food poisoning for like a short period of time. And I could feel that my gut was just not happy. And I could see that my skin wasn't happy. Every time my gut's messed up, I noticed it on my skin straight away. And so when I started taking that, I honestly felt like I felt a difference within a couple of weeks. Like it was so great.
That makes me so happy. It also helps with blood sugar.
Yes.
Which helps everybody.
Exactly. We need that.
Everyone needs help with blood sugar.
And one of my favorite aspects of it is how it supports underlying infection. So one of what I think craziest things we've been seeing in the acne lab panel is so many people have essentially like micro amounts of underlying infections. It can be strep, it can be staph, and it's not showing up anywhere else in the body except for acne. Some people can receive it differently, right? It can show up as a rash. It can actually show up, underlying strep can show up as back pain somewhere. It's pretty wild how underlying infections can show up in the body. But since we are focused on acne and people are coming to us with acne, we are seeing so many cases that have these underlying infections, and black cumin seed oil can be so helpful for mitigating underlying infections.
It was helping so many people after they were doing the lab panel. So we're like, more people need this.
Amazing. Oh my gosh, thank you guys so much. Is there anything else that you'd love to share for anybody that's really struggling right now or been in a place that you've been? Any words of encouragement or love sending out to them?
Truly sending so much love. we have a really great checklist, and I'll make sure that we repost it around the time of this podcast too. I also believe it's in one of our blogs on our website. If not, I'll double check to make sure it is. But we have this checklist that makes it really easy, and it's everything we talked about on this podcast, because a lot of people will maybe like be taking notes during this podcast and trying to figure out like, okay, should I eliminate this? Should I do that? And so we have this amazing checklist that you can just save to your phone that has the categories of food, supplement, stress triggers, and then of course we have our pore clogging checklist. If you don't use a laptop, we have our pore clogging checklist on our app too. It's so easy from your phone with the Clearstem app. But yes, this checklist, and you can just go through it and just get in tune with your body and just see from this checklist maybe what's going on in your diet and your lifestyle, and commit to 60 days. You can commit to anything for 60 days, go through the checklist, eliminate the big triggers, and see how you respond. And it is so beyond helpful.
I just want to say it is actually really refreshing and beautiful to see people who have been through something and are able to have actually gone through the experience and then created something from that. Like, there are so many products out there, so many skincare brands. We all know they're just shops and shops filled with it. But to have people who've actually been through it, who've done so much research on it, who've lived it themselves and have come out the other side to then know that this works, it's really wonderful to see that. So thank you guys so much for sharing everything you've learned with the world through your products.
Thank you.
And I'm so grateful. Thank you for being here.
Likewise.
Thank you.